Hello, welcome to Airing It Out. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jonas.
This is Jerry, and Jerry's got his black coat on today, which admittedly he's gone a little fat for.
Oh.
But that's because we're talking about The Matrix.
I was like, you're just gonna fat shame Jerry, like, straight up?
There's nothing wrong with being fat, just buy new clothes.
It's okay if you're staying at home, feeling more snackish than usual, and putting on some extra weight. It's totally fine. Jerry is doing it too. Just like...
if anything, he's gone the other way, because he's actually losing stuffing.
That's true.
Yeah, his arm's got a bit floppy.
In the wrong places.
Well, yeah, upper arm.
Yeah.
It's very sad. Losing the definition that he spent
He's
years.
losing his love handles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay. Moving on.
Black Jacket, The Matrix.
Yes.
We've been asked to do a
retrospective on The Matrix.
Yeah, to watch the trilogy and
you hadn't even seen them all.
No, I had only seen the first one, and it was quite funny to go back to it because definitely the first few times maybe 2 times I've seen it was on VCR because like my parents.
For those of you that are too young, that's like the old spinny thing with actual stuff in there, like
cassettes.
But the size of a PlayStation now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but that's like we had like a box TV. I say box because it's actually 3-dimensional.
A cube.
It's a cube, and you put on the tape, and you see it on like a screen that's as big as my laptop now.
But curved, but the wrong way.
Curved, yes.
But not curved towards
and you. When you put your hand up against it, you can feel the electricity that's like...
Yeah, it's like a plasma globe.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's brilliant. So that's my experience. It actually felt like The Matrix because they also have those kinds of screens in The Matrix.
Yes.
So that was very cool.
But so we're going to go through all the films, what we liked, what we didn't like, talk a little bit about the new one that's coming out, maybe?
Maybe.
Well, the new one's definitely coming out. Whether or not we talk about it remains to be seen.
We're definitely going to dive into all the philosophical concepts because you will be able to explain them.
Because I study philosophy.
Exactly.
Yes. The timestamps will be in the description below, so if you want to jump to a certain topic or film, go for it. But it's quite a cohesive trilogy, so you should be fine.
Yeah, very cohesive. Very...
Easy.
Yes, easy to follow.
But yeah, so hit subscribe and follow along.
Yeah.
Jumping right in then.
Ooh, first one.
The first one.
I love the first one. I think it's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it is the perfect length.
Yeah?
It really doesn't overstay it. Like...
It doesn't mess around with anything that it doesn't need to. Like, we were talking, especially the romance, the relationship between Neo and Trinity. I was saying, like, the whole them falling in love doesn't really... I don't know.
There's no time to develop it.
They're not showing that at all, but it's also fine. Like, you don't need to see it happen because you know it's happening.
Yeah,
and
just assumed time on the Nebuchadnezzar, chilling out, which is the ship. If you haven't seen them, go watch them, at least the first one.
Yeah.
Go watch them, then come back. It's a classic that everyone should have seen.
Yeah, although I don't like to deal in those kinds of like, oh, you have never seen that? It's a classic, you should have seen it. But like, would definitely recommend.
I also think it's not one of those ones that's a hard watch.
No.
Like, because I do get it. There's certain films, I remember Chinatown was recommended to me as like, you need to see it. And I sat for it and I was like, I'm glad I saw it, but from a film perspective, not like a casual viewer. It's very dated.
No,
like
it's
The
when
Godfather.
someone says like Casablanca and I'm like, what now?
I've not actually seen that.
Me neither.
No, but but they're hard to view. Whereas I think The Matrix is very easily watchable.
Yeah.
So like it is a fun action film with good philosophical ideas. It's not. It's not like I'm gonna have to put that on the list to watch and
you can definitely dive deep into it. Like I love the way Morpheus says like see how far the rabbit hole goes because it also definitely says something about the film. Like you can just watch it and enjoy just very
mindless action.
Yeah, mindless action.
But it's not mindless, and that's I think that's what the first one does best. Is it combines the ideas in the movie with the action, and I think the pacing is perfect.
Yeah.
But it's later on in the other films when it starts to fall apart a bit. We'll get to that.
And I yes.
No, I was gonna say the CG.
The CG, yeah.
Definitely needs its own, like, the techniques that they used
Mm-hmm.
to the point of like they were parodied
Mm-hmm.
almost instantly, and now you can't really use them. Like the bullet time effect
Yes.
is so associated with the Matrix.
Yeah.
That
So if you don't know what that is, I think it happens twice in the first movie. It's in the very beginning of the film, in the prologue, if you will. You have Trinity jumping up in the air, doing her signature crouching
it's praying mantis. Wow.
Jump before she kicks someone in the face, and then later on the very, very iconic signature Matrix move of like falling back in slow motion, dodging the bullets,
and like the camera does like nearly a full 360.
Yeah.
And you like follow the bullets
Exactly.
in slow motion, which hadn't been done before.
Yeah, because what they did is they set up cameras in almost a 360 circle, but like on different levels. So you have like a motion of going around, and they all took pictures like right after another, or like they took
many pictures.
Many pictures to, yeah.
They simulate a camera going that quickly, which just couldn't be done.
Exactly.
Yeah, which was
very smart. It's just very smart because obviously film is nothing else. It's just a lot of pictures, and so they got them going around. Yeah.
Which I think though it combines practical and CG pretty well, because there's definitely there's bits in the second film, especially, and the third is all over the place, where like the camera's doing things that just aren't physically possible. And I think we'll go on time and talk about the second film, but that's definitely where the problem for me started.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one.
I mean, it's again the exact same thing we've said before. Like, if you can do something practically, do it. And you can tell that in the first one they had a much lower budget, I would say, and so they had to do things practically and couldn't CG everything, but the CG that they do use is well in place.
Yes, 100%. And like stuff with, I mean, we were laughing because we've just watched Money Heist, where they use guns that aren't firing, and when they are firing, they fire blanks, and they just leave like the blank bolt in, which if you don't know, they look very different to what like a bullet casing looks like, and it's just very noticeable in the Matrix that they have gone to a gun range, done lots of shooting, the pillars that are blowing up, and they've either taken the time to make the casings all look like actual bullet casings or take them on a range.
Well, it looks like they just have some casings on a shovel and let that drop into frame. My lord.
Very much depends on the shot, but for sure, like, they've put effort into making the fights as fun as possible.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you can also take so many like little hints from like where's that the way they fight is also very martial arts, like Eastern.
Yes.
Which makes sense because like the programs they load up.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they just load the program of a jiu-jitsu, and then he's like, I know Kung Fu, and you're like, okay, it's all kind of Eastern martial arts.
But that kind of fighting is much more interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a fight in the real world that is a bit more grittier. But I was kind of sitting there like, but he does, like, he knows the Kung Fu. Like, yeah, you should be able to do it just slower. Like, there's no reason for it to be like a gritty fist fight. But
that's true.
But it does just show like it's actually much more. You can make a fight last 10 minutes quite happily if you've got some fancy martial arts, and if you are just having people punch each other, then it's harder.
Oh, it's very smart. They have a lot of gunfights, but they balance that really well, and they make that interesting as well. Like, obviously they can because they're all flipping through the air and whatnot. Even
that, though, in saying like it doesn't overstay its welcome, I don't think there's any fight in the first one that I'm like, we could do without it. Like, they're all pretty sharp, and a lot of the time early on they're just running away. Like, they're not really fighting at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I just also love the story about the first one where they shot the beginning, the opening sequence. So they went to their producers. I think it's Warner Brothers that produced it. Asked them for money to make the film, and they got like $5
million.
Yeah, so they got a couple million. $5 million is not a lot for
a movie, especially of that scale.
Yeah, especially like, I mean, in Germany we have other figures. $5 million would be A good sum,
Yeah,
but like
sum.
definitely not for that kind of a film. With Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne
Hugo Weaving.
and all the others. That I've
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yes, those are the 4 big names. Exactly, no, but they went out and shot the first, 3 minutes or so?
Yeah, so Trinity's escape scene. That's it. That's all they filmed. And they went back to the production company and said, "We filmed the introduction to the film. If you want the rest, give us more money."
Give us more money.
But imagine if they were like, "No, that was all the budget you had."
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do. But they managed to get Hugh Weaving's in it and Carrie-Anne Moss and stuff. So definitely big name actors. I presume they paid them quite well for that. But yeah, definitely it showed what the kind of vision for the film was. They did very well.
I just think it takes so much balls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that story is being glorified, but it's pretty well documented. But no, I think the first one, the music for it is good. They never really developed the music beyond that one little hook that they've got. Every time something epic happens, it's quite blaring in, which is fine.
Yeah.
And they don't obviously over-explain the world.
Yeah.
It's just that what is real, and that's kind of all that's to it. I don't know. Like, so from like a philosophy aspect,
yeah,
people always say like, "Oh, The Matrix here is so philosophical." It's one of those films that people say like Inception, that like you have to watch 8 times to understand it properly.
Oh no!
And you're like, really? Like, it's not that bad.
No, especially the first one is just like it just has that one key question of
what is real?
What is real? Or like how can you tell what is real in that sense?
Yeah, there's not much more to it really.
Yeah.
Which is definitely an interesting question, and people to this day are like, maybe we live in a computer simulation and stuff. But
yeah,
there's not much to really do there, like in terms of analysis.
Yeah.
It's fairly forthcoming with the ideas that present, which is I think where the second film, which if you've not seen, kind of follows along fairly similar path. And then it just takes a nosedive when he meets the architect, who's the program that created the Matrix, and they sit in a room for 5.5 minutes and talk.
Yeah, and he just basically explains stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like what he's explaining. I think it was only. I mean, I watched those songs quite young because I mean they came out. The first was 1999, and then the other two, second and third, were 2003. So they actually came out 6 months apart. I think it's February and November.
That's crazy.
That's 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like 10. But even so, like they're definitely filmed in one go.
And
I think it shows.
Yeah, you can tell.
And they just don't blend the two things as well. So like the action is there are bits where he's like meeting people and it's like, oh, we'll just fight, and then they stop fighting. Or like the opening of the third one, where they like fight to get to the French guy, and there's like 3 fights in a row to do that, and it's like, do we need all of this? You know, and it's like another hallway.
Yeah.
The only difference is they're like running on the ceiling, but in terms of from a film angle, that doesn't actually change that much from a fight. Like they're still doing the same things. They definitely just flip the room.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of like, we're sitting down talking. We're done talking. Now's time to fight.
Yeah.
And then there's people coming in and fighting, and then you sit down and you talk again.
Yeah. But it was only on my like third or fourth viewing I actually understood what that chat with the architect was.
Yes.
As a kid, and I was like, oh, right. So there was other ones before Neo.
Yeah.
Etc. 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 And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. 'Cause I think most people see that room of nothingness and just switch off. You know, because I was thinking, especially like the second one's where it really starts, the dialogue gets quite a bit cheesier. And I was like, I mean, the people give the Star Wars prequels a bad rap for being people walking around and talking, but I think the Matrix sequels take it that next step forward. If people are just sitting and talking, there's so many sitting around a table having a chat, sitting on your chairs where you get plugged in, having a chat. Even when they go to the Matrix, they're standing in a room having a chat.
Yeah.
It's like, definitely, for how creative the action scenes are, they don't have that storytelling ability, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely shows, like, the Wachowskis other films, the directors.
Mm.
I mean, they went on to do like Jupiter Ascending,
Yeah.
which I don't know if anyone cares about.
No, I mean I am a fan of them for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
What else?
Sense8, if you've guys seen that. And I think it was interesting watching those 3 films and being like, okay, I can definitely see the connections between The Matrix and then Sense8. And like just I mean the stuff that they have going on in the background, like the raver scene.
Yeah. Well, actually, for that scene, they got like the BDSM community to just come in because they didn't have enough BDSM gear.
I was gonna say that
cool.
looked very much like they didn't source that anywhere. They just had people come in.
But stuff like that, I'm always just like, why?
Why?
It doesn't add anything to the film.
Does it not? Does it not just give you a feel of like this is the world?
So, like, if you basically all the characters that have been taken out of the Matrix and come back were like the cool long black leather jackets that literally only they can pull off. But there's more than one scene where in different movies where they go to like a club and all the people in the club are in like full leather things,
or not wearing much but
at all.
Anything that is worn is leather and latex.
Like that, they're not meant to be like freed people trying to be cool or anything. That's just people. I don't think it adds anything.
I just think it builds the world real nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially like twice. Like you never see just normal people.
I think what they're trying to do there is just a very clear distinction between Neo's world of
it's actually not that different
and being stuck.
But even in the third film?
Yeah.
Because I think by that point we've seen the Raven Zion, the city in the modern day.
Yeah.
The future day.
Yeah.
Which they're all just having naked raves.
Yeah.
And then the third film starts with a naked rave. I'm like, this is definitely just a kink of the directors, not anything.
A little bit. I don't know, it's an expression of freedom in that sense.
But they're not free. It'd be even more interesting to have them not be raving in that world.
No, but it's like if they are all, I guess that's why Neo is there as well. It's all of them are searching for freedom and they go to the club, but it's not the same thing because they're still in the Matrix, you know, and you're still not there, but like at least they're searching for it, and this is as close to freedom as they can get.
I just don't.
All my ravers out there, am I right or am I not right? Leave a comment below.
I don't buy it. I think the themes of the second and the third one go much deeper into like choice and free will.
Oh yes.
Whereas the first one has that, are we really free? And I do think there's a good dynamic there. If he's stuck in this room when he's Neo, and then he's stuck in the cubicle.
Yes.
When he's at work, so actually, regardless of what life he's living, he is not free. And then he gets free, and he's like, "What the hell? I want to go back." Pretty much, it's like, this is crap.
A little bit, yeah. Stuck in the ship.
In the ship, yeah. He's always stuck. Whereas the next ones go much more into not just freedom, but free will.
Yeah.
And choice and fate and all those kind of themes, which are much more in depth. That's why I don't think by the third one they need to be having BDSM orgies for a non-scene, really. So that's the thing. It's like they're going to meet one of this evil programs that's captured Neo to free him. They fight their way through the club and then get into the club, fight their way again to get him at gunpoint. And it's like last time we saw him, he was in this like super high classy restaurant, and now he's chilling in a BDSM bar, still in a suit.
Still in a suit?
I don't think
it
doesn't add anything to its character.
His character.
It doesn't add anything to the film. Stuff like that's just weird. I don't know. You know, when you're sitting there, that was the first time I was like, what is going on? Like, why?
I think it's like they're not quite wanting to go to like a steampunk or like
they are so close though.
Yeah, but it's like they built their own world, because like if you look at Altered Carbon now and you have this whole like sci-fi
Not that we watched the second season.
Whatever, but like
Cyberpunk
is the word, yes. But that is so like, oh, we've seen it a million times. But what they've done.
See, I think though at the time, so if you look at like Blade, have you seen Blade?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the start of Blade is very similar.
Yeah. Also leather and.
It's a lot of black leather, but I think it makes sense in the Matrix to have the freed heroes come in and wear these clothes that are only pull-offable by them. And even you see them and you go, they do look really cool.
Yeah.
But no one else can do it.
Yeah.
It's not a look that works in the real world. I'm sorry if you're into the whole long coat thing. It doesn't work. Jerry's over there proving my point.
Yeah. No, I did have like a moment of, damn, how do they do it though? Because like, it's just also like the way they are confident in wearing that, I think, is like it's so nonchalant as like, yeah, I'm wearing this.
Yeah, but I think that it would further accentuate how much cooler they are if the world was actually what the world was like in 1999. Because that's when the Matrix is set.
But they would also stick out, like.
But they stick out anyway.
Yeah, but like people would start that has
but
me
on
thinking
the street
like,
they don't. It's just in these weird environments that they still stand out anyway. So it's like you're adding nothing.
It had me thinking though of like the Inception of the Inception film. No, but like if they walk down the street wearing what they're wearing, they must, like, everyone must notice them, and then the agents would like be there in no time, like anywhere.
But they don't. That's not.
No, but
they don't anyway. Because normal people are still normal people. It's only in these one-off weird sequences where all of a sudden the world's very different.
No, but if they go into the Matrix wearing what they're wearing, because they always wear that.
Yeah.
So anywhere they go, they would draw attention to them.
But they don't. Like,
but
that's not a part of the film, though.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, that's why I'm like, this logic of what they're wearing doesn't really work.
But I still think...
That's why they have to go to rave parties, because...
But they go there because of necessity, not anything to do with the dress. I think it's a flaw in the film that definitely, like, you could argue works with the whole freedom not free thing. That's why he follows the White Rabbit at the very start. Mm-hmm. But by the time you're 5 hours into the trilogy... it's superfluous, and it's just...
I wouldn't say it's a flaw, though.
I don't think it's a flaw, but these films are long. I think, like, so we've done Dark Knight Trilogy, and what was the last? Pirates of the Caribbean, which, I mean, they're 3 hours a piece, and 2.5 hours for the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. Much easier to watch than the Matrix Trilogy. By the third film, I was tired.
Yeah.
And we watched them at the exact same, like, time of day, and that's where I'm thinking, like, if there's stuff that can be trimmed, trim it.
Sure.
Because there's fights that are superfluous, settings that are superfluous, and you could just have them go to the exact same place they were in the second film, and it wouldn't be a problem. You know, different characters in the area, like, have the restaurant be empty, and he's just sitting there with guards, and he's like, oh, I'm more prepared for a fight this time, kind of hint at what's to come, doesn't come, fine. Whereas I think it just overstays its welcome. Because it's not adding anything for themes, it's not adding any action that we haven't seen before, it's just like, oh, we have to start with a fight. Here you go.
Yeah, you don't have to fight your way through the nightclub, but I just don't think it's a theme, though. It is a theme.
I don't.
It is a theme.
It's not a philosophical theme, and that's what the films, especially by the third one, are trying so hard to be like. I mean, I think they Christ him, like, where he's like lying like that 3 times in a row, just in case you weren't getting the fact that Neo is Christ and he's sacrificing himself for humanity.
If you didn't get that in the first one already, my God.
Well, the first one's more Buddhist than Christian, to be fair.
But he's definitely like a Christ figure there already.
But it is like it falls, or maybe Hinduism. No, Avatar's Hinduism. This Buddhism is Matrix. I remember my old courses.
How so?
Why would you ask this question?
It's like something we've read up on.
We have no script. I have literally a page there that says Matrix stuff.
Matrix stuff.
I don't know.
Well, if you can.
If you're more interested, I'll leave a link down to my old essays down below.
Oh, you've written an essay about this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Everyone studies the Matrix in philosophy. It's like, well, in school anyway.
In school.
That's going back a bit.
Yeah. No, I don't know. The whole free will stuff and like choice and do you believe in fate? And then they have the Oracle, but like the Oracle can only. I think it's so weird to be like she can only see as far as she's
It's the choices.
She's made the choice to see.
No, so she can't see past certain choices.
Yeah.
So that's like the difference where they've got when he's talking to the architect, there's all the TV screens. The TV screens showing every possible response that Neo could make. So that's like the choices, and the architect has to see those to decide what he's going to do. Whereas the Oracle is much more airy-fairy. I'll let people choose and can actually see that.
Interesting.
It's a little bit though, for sure.
Yeah.
But fine.
Yeah. So the whole dynamic between the Oracle and the architect didn't quite. That was weird. I didn't quite get that.
They also never acknowledge. So like it's very much hinted at that the modern world, future thing, is also a matrix.
Yes.
In that, if people are rejecting the matrix program, they'll come out of it and then won't think any further of like, oh, I'm still in one.
Yeah.
And so that, I think they say like 10% or 5% or something will negate it. So they'll come out and that's fine. But that raises quite a lot of questions as to why. Like, because there's this whole thing that the Oracle and the architect have a chat at the end and they're like, oh, we'll still let the people that want out. And he's like, oh, for now, and it makes no difference. Like, just let them live in the little apocalyptic world.
No, it was definitely the second one when Neo destroys the Sentinels.
Yes.
I was like, that, just the way he does it is so, like, it's 1-to-1, the way he
stops bullets. Yeah.
So it was this is definitely a Matrix as well.
Yeah,
moment.
And also, like, he gets blinded and can still see. And there are, like, definitely differing opinions as to whether or not that's the oneness power, but I think it's definitely another Matrix. Like, we're in the clear.
But I think that's also like if you think about it philosophically, like, how do you know that you know? Because like you'll never have like the one telling factor that's like, okay, this is actually real in that sense.
In the same way, they acknowledge that we don't really have free will because we're bound by something, be it our emotions or just an illusion of free will in the first place. Yes.
So free will would be absolute independence of everything.
Is what they hint at, yeah. Because obviously it's like, while he's free to make the choice between saving Trinity and saving everyone in the world and his entire species, by some odd logic, he is tied emotionally to Trinity and so has to save her. But he thinks he's choosing to.
Yes.
Of course it's fine because he saves both.
Because he can.
Because he's Christ.
Yeah.
Essentially. But yeah, stuff like that is problematic. And I think goes over most people's heads. In terms of, they don't really do much with that idea though, like that chat, and then it just kind of, the third film is very much.
I didn't like the third film. Like, you're having a problem and an issue when you don't show your main character for half the film. Yeah.
So in the fight in Zion, Neo has gone off to talk to the machine source.
He's going to the machine city. I love that. The machine city.
Great. Yeah, I also think that film is so dark. Like, Zion is dark, and obviously they've scorched the sky, so it is dark. But you don't need lightning bolts everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to do dark prettier. Like, if you look at Mad Max Fury Road, I mean, yeah, it's day for night, but like just the blue aesthetic is very nice. Yeah. It's satisfying to look at in that nighttime sequence in that film. Whereas in The Matrix, there is just a point where, like, okay, we're either inside the dark and grimy ship, or in the dark and grimy city where they're shooting the dark and grimy monsters, or Neo is going to the dark and grimy center to go have a fight with Adam? I was thinking Adam Smith, I don't know who that is. Mr. Adam Smith building at Glasgow Uni. Mr. Smith. Yikes. Missing university. Missing university already. Coronavirus.
Mr. Smith.
Fighting Mr. Smith in The Matrix, where it's inexplicably dark and grimy and raining and muddy, And that whole film is just not pleasant to look at. I think there was one shot I even said, actually, where they're like on the bridge, they've got the mech on the side, there's this like flame circle around with the sentinels. I actually was like, I bet you the cinematographer got a raise for that, because it was the one pretty shot in the whole movie. It's just a shame, you know.
But it's, I don't know if that's the cinematographer or just like it was a complete CG shot, and like someone sat there and was like, I would put this on my...
He got the weekend off, he's like, yeah, right,
I would put this as my desktop. Oh man,
no. In saying that though, that does take us nicely to the CG-ness, because I think the first film gets away with it, the second film has a bad rep, and the third film is somehow worse. So I think, though...
I don't know. I think the second one has the worst moments, though.
See, if we take the fight against all the Mr. Smiths...
Yes.
Right, because that's a good point. I don't think what most people think the problem is the problem. So they managed to make Hugo Weaving's face on everyone's
incredible.
Perfectly.
That is incredible.
So there's like maybe 100 of him, and they all look like Mr. Smith, which is... for the time as well, is really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how they did it. Presumably they just filmed the ones where he's actually there a lot of times, and then the fight just gone, computer will do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like they've just had film multiple takes and kind of stitched them together.
No, I mean, the fighting scenes, you'd have to go through it pretty slow, but you can still see that there are a lot of stuntmen that definitely look like him, but they just changed little things, or like mapped a little bit of face mapping, whatever. But it's
no, there's definitely ones where like
so much work.
If it was just him on screen, you told me it was Hugo Weaving, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
But next to the one in front, which is definitely Hugo Weaving, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
For me though, so if you think about like, I don't know, what's that, 2003? Like, so when it goes CG and like his cloak, Neo's cloak, is definitely not real, and the faces...
I think as soon as he gets the metal rod.
Stick. But I don't think the material is the main offender, because there's definitely films I can watch from that era, and even before.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's dated CGI, but it's still... like, you just watch it with that datedness in mind. Like, you think about... I know you've not seen Terminator 2, which is definitely... Please, no one recommend we watch all the Terminator films, because the first two are excellent, and the rest of them I never want to see. I mean, I've seen almost all. I've not seen the new one. Genesis? No, Dark Fate. I've seen Genesis. It's so bad. But the CGI in that holds up really well, as long as you think, okay, this film came out in the 80s. It was groundbreaking for its time, still looked really good early 2000s, and now you're a bit like...
Oh, Terminator
2.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like... Now it doesn't quite hold up.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Sure.
So I think I could happily watch the second Matrix film with that in mind. The only shots I'd remove are like the slow-mo punch, which didn't work. Skin is even harder to do than clothes.
I think that one worked for what it was.
It's too rubbery for me.
I think like him spinning with the rod, doing all his like...
See, the problem for me there is the camera.
Yeah.
So, like, if you think about King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, everyone's favourite Guy Ritchie film, right?
Yes.
There's that sequence in the end where he uses the sword power and fights down the walls of the castle.
Yes.
Right? And the CG in that, in terms of, like, the pure graphics that are being rendered, are photorealistic. They're pretty much perfect.
Yes.
But the thing that really takes me out of it anyway is that the fact that the camera is going, like, whoo, whoo, whoo.
Yeah.
It's doing moves that a camera just physically can't do.
Yes. That's very true.
Instantly, I'm like, that's not real.
Yeah.
I think it was the same in that Neo fight. It wasn't the fact that he was spinning. Obviously, no one can do that. But spinning with a pole, it's that the camera is like spinning with him a lot of the time and going up and under and through. And it, for me, it accentuates the fact that that's been made in a computer and it's not happening.
No, I think for me, it's just like when they animate Neo, so Keanu Reeves, fully, it was just not well done. Like Mr. Smith looks real, but Neo animated
There's
for whatever
the bit where he like flies
so
up and he's like about to fly down, and it
looks like a
video game
Play-Doh figure, you know. Somehow they spent a lot of time face mapping whatever Mr. Smith or like
Elrond
exactly. But like the rendering of Neo and his clothing and his face just didn't get the same amount of time.
Do you think it's bad enough to justify remaking it? Would you watch a remake?
To remake, just remaking the CG.
Yeah, like if they did a remake with an equivalent cast, but with modern day visual effects, would you be interested, or do you think they'd need to fix more than just the visuals?
Oh wow, I'd be interested in seeing the exact same Matrix, but just them rendering all the stuff anew.
Yeah. Okay.
I would watch that. Yeah.
Okay. In saying that, actually, in
I
talking
wouldn't
about
wanna
watching it
watch
again, I should acknowledge. So we got a tweet by one of our Twitter followers. Hi, Albert. Who recommended that we watch them with the commentary. Sadly, by the time that tweet came through, we were already halfway through the third film.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely not watching them again. We did talk about it, and we decided, no.
Probably not.
No. Maybe the first one at some point, but I'm sure it's great with the visual commentary. Not twice in a row.
Yeah, that would be a whole nother project, because then we're not actually watching the film. Then we're like
that's why we decided to do that
visual podcast.
No, I definitely thought.
Who does that? Who watches vodcast?
Don't criticize them. They've made it 30 minutes in.
There was some sarcasm in that. I don't know if
Yes.
you could spot it.
The fight against the French guy with all the weapons in the room.
Yeah.
In the second one, that's a good fight.
That's a good fight.
This actually got. So I was actually thinking that there's not many fights that go beyond hand-to-hand fighting in any of the films.
Yeah.
I think the first one's fine, 'cause again, that's shorter, contained, out of the way. And then the second one, they don't develop that much, except that fight where there's like weapons on the wall. It's one of those like fancy houses that has spears and swords on the wall. Why not? And they actually incorporate that into it. They never really go back to that though, sadly.
No. But I think it was good because it mixed up the whole guns and shooting and fist fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think they don't do enough on that. So that motorway fight, they actually built a 1.5 mile long motorway.
I think that's insane.
For that, it cost them $2.5 million, which is a lot of money to go into a set that will be dismantled and is used for one sequence.
I don't know. Like, I'd be interested.
In terms of the budget of that film,
I'd be like, how much % of the budget went just into the. I don't know.
I can just check.
You go look it up. No, but like. Honestly, I don't know if I think that's a lot, because if you think about how much production spend on just building cities.
So 150 million, that'll include marketing.
Yeah.
So you're looking at about 2%?
Yeah.
Just under.
Probably.
For one motorway?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a bit of road. Like, that's the thing, though. There's nothing special about it. It's literally road with walls on either side.
It's a massive fight scene. Like, that's a long fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that visually interesting at all.
It has some cool-ass moments, though.
But I think so they've built a road with, like, a wall on either side.
Yeah.
And it just, like, that's all you're seeing is a road. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the most visually interesting. And they have this whole thing, like, oh, we never go on the freeway. Why? They've never said why. They don't say why. I was sitting there like, do I Google it, or is that like a silly thing to Google?
I guess it's because
the agents can be anyone.
Yeah, and they are in cars, and it's like you can't escape, because once you're on the freeway, especially that one where there are walls left and right, you're just not getting off.
Do freeways like that exist in America?
Probably.
With like 3-meter walls either side.
Yeah.
What do you do if you crash?
You go on the lane that's not one that people drive on.
The lay-by, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty deadly. It just didn't look like a safe motorway at all. I think that's proven by the fact that there's like this fight and they're driving down the motorway.
I think it goes pretty well for the fact that they're like crashing cars
the CG
left,
cars
right, and
look
center.
alright.
Yeah.
There's too many of them to be believable, I think. They crash.
It was a shot where like the camera just goes through 2 lorry trucks
it goes
in a row,
through
and I was
a
like,
truck.
and I was like, damn, that was CG, but I did not notice when
But it doesn't
truck
even
was
like
approaching the
just
camera.
miss it or like unbelievably close. It literally just hits the
Goes
truck
through them.
and keeps going. And
Yeah.
there's no way.
It's like we're not trying to hide anything.
But there's the bit where like the bike is like zipping in and out of traffic.
Oh.
And I was like, see if they had maybe 4 cars.
Yeah.
I would be like, that's incredible stunt work, and I probably wouldn't have thought any more about it.
Yeah.
But when you pass the 16th, I'm like, there's no way. This is unbelievable motorcycle skill that has to be in a computer, and then that's confirmed by the fact that the
I was
camera
convinced.
disappears for a truck. Okay, so that goes to show how well that's
I
done.
was convinced. I thought it was believable that someone with like, I mean, I was like, shit, they must have. Sorry, they must have choreographed that so well. Like what car goes where.
Really, that was really your thought process for that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I believe that could be done for sure.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So the CG there holds up because it's definitely not being done. There's no way because the camera disappears through a truck car. It's that sequence, yeah.
In that sequence.
Yeah.
Maybe not in every sequence.
Maybe they did it sometimes, but not others.
Haha, I want to go back and
then
watch
the car is
that now.
flipping behind the bike. No way. Obviously, because then there must be like...
I'll have to watch that scene again.
Oh, yikes.
But I think that's so cool because The Matrix is definitely something you can watch like just the fight scenes and be totally happy.
Yes. The thing is, though, I think the first one is supplemented by the actual plot as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the second one is, especially the third one. Well, in fact, the third one, I don't even think there's a fight worth watching.
Mm.
It's the weird robot fights where they got the mech suits from Avatar and they're like... And that's it.
Did they get it from Avatar? Or no, Avatar got it from
Definitely
them.
Avatar got it from them.
Yeah.
But like, that's what they are. And that's
Stealing.
it. The fight against Agent Smith at the end is
I have
special.
to say, I could care less about the fighting in Zion.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they all stand around and like shoot into the sky. I'm like, yes, this is dramatic and like, but like, I want to see
We
our
don't
main
care
character.
about any of those characters.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are in Zion doing anything
Yeah.
interesting. There's this young kid they've introduced and some guys that look like gruff military men.
Whoever that kid is like.
Neo saved him off screen between
But
movies.
who is he? Yeah. I think it's such a weird jump from the first one to the second one with like new characters that all the characters know, but we don't know them. And it's like, we need some introduction, guys. You can't go like half an hour in and then be like, oh yeah, he is the husband of the sister of these two characters that you know, and you're like, that is...
See, I think though,
Who?
so the fights in the second one are worth watching on their own.
Yeah.
But the rest of the film isn't.
Mm.
I don't think it holds up. I think it is a lot of sitting, chatting.
I love the French guy though. So witty.
So French.
Can anyone do the when he says like, oh, French is the best language to swear in, and then he goes like and says
There's a
20
good
words.
paragraph of swearing.
I want to see someone else do
I
that
got
because
nails.
that was cool. Cool.
That was cool.
That is
I told you were tired.
that is cool. Like that was impressive. It's just like.
Well, that's Christoph Waltz in Italian in
Yeah.
Inglourious.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, where he lists off some Italian.
Although I'm not sure what accent that was because it sounded very German at times. I'm like, this is not a French accent.
Oh, the French guy. Well, he's not French.
I assume
He's a program.
Yes, but
So he's chosen his favorite language, which is French. He sampled them all, so he doesn't
Okay.
actually need the French accent.
So he doesn't actually. So the fact that his accent just is all over the place is because he just knows all the languages.
He's just a computer program.
He's
Yeah,
just
that's why.
a flawed. No, he would have to be perfect though if he were a program.
Maybe that's his perfect. Maybe that is the perfect accent, and you just.
I don't know. If he's like French, if he chooses French, then I would assume his accent would be perfect.
See if the actor's French.
A perfect
You're
French
gonna-
accent, whatever that is, you know.
Not him, apparently.
Not a German accent, no.
I had no qualms about his accent.
Fair enough.
I think he's a bit of an odd character.
Maybe I get a bit possessive over what the German accent should sound like. No, it's got to be really, really bad.
Pure and perfect.
Wow.
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Hinted at something, I didn't say it. No, I think the Mr. Smith's impressionist in the third one is incredible.
Yes.
So it's another actor who is being controlled by Mr. Smith.
Or is Mr. Smith, but in a different body.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not the same actor. But instantly you can tell that it's meant to be him.
Yes.
Just by like speech patterns.
My God.
It's incredible. Really, really well done. And then they do like, there are some songs, so he always calls Neo Mr. Anderson. And then he does start saying that, so if you don't pick up on it then you're being silly. But even before that, you're like, this guy's very similar.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really well done. Because I mean, they could have just cast the same
guy.
actor and put a beard on him, but they don't, and it's
so cool.
It's very, very well done.
I don't know. You should also, I don't know, they definitely hint at it, because like Mr. Smith goes and like turns this person around just before he's about to leave the Matrix on like the phone call, and like the new Mr. Anderson takes the phone call, so you know there is a not Mr. Anderson, the new Mr. Smith takes the phone call, but you know there's an agent, there's a Mr. Smith in the outside,
the other Matrix,
the other outer Matrix, I don't know. So like you should be suspecting that.
Yes, and it's also another strong hint that it is a Matrix, because otherwise what the hell is going on?
Yeah, how would a computer program get outside of
computers?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, so
that would be really weird. What?
Yeah, I think that's done really well. Interestingly, so the fourth film was either going to be a remake or a sequel, and they decided for a sequel.
Good, I think good.
Is it?
Or like it, I don't know.
The
if
story
it's
is wrapped up very well.
No, but if it's like a remake, I would expect them to do like a whole. They would have to remake so much stuff. They would have to.
It would be more than just a reshoot.
Rewrite the script.
I hope so, because that's what I say. I think if it was going to be remade, I would want more than just the CG touched up. Bless you.
Dab. Sorry.
So cool. I would want more than just CG touch up, though. I would try and smoothen out the edges, get the philosophy chucked in there in a different way.
Yes.
If that's what you want. And yeah, a lot of that film needs to change.
I mean, I understand that you can't have like philosophical conversations while fighting someone, but
there's a reason we talk about fight scenes a lot.
No, but they don't have philosophical conversations while fighting in the first one either. It's just
but the conversation they have managed to actually flow together rather than this weird, let's sit down and talk about choice.
I think it only really happens once in the first one, when they first boot into the loading program of the Matrix.
But they need to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone would be lost.
Yeah.
Because I think that's more of a catching up to speed everyone that has no idea what's going on, rather than deep philosophical
Which works
ideas.
perfectly, because Neo's at that point, the audience is at that point, so like they can definitely do that, and it's like, okay, you explain it, we get it, let's move on, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the issue with the second and third. It's like too much, just chatting about stuff rather than we actually need to explain that. Otherwise, the movie wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think the reason the first one has such a good reputation in that regard is that the world can be talked about in that way. Whereas if you're just presenting ideas, the best way to do that is in a paper, not in like an academic paper, rather than a movie. Because, I mean, yes, it's an idea that exists whether or not we have free will. You don't need to present that to us in this weird techno sci-fi movie. I think there's other ways to make that.
There's definitely films that
whereas it tries to both present the idea and actually discuss the idea, which is very hard to do while keeping people engaged. And I think that's why they feel the need to be like, here's a fight scene when he meets a guy.
Yeah.
Is a problem.
No, and there are a lot of films that do the whole like all the possibilities of like choice. Like you could do whatever many things in this moment, and they would, the whole ripple thing of like lead to different things.
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly,
which is a film.
Yeah, but like there are definitely films out there that do that.
Yeah. No, do it
well, like
Lola
and.
But I think the fourth film.
Yeah.
They've got a challenge because they've killed off their main characters.
Mm-hmm.
They've got peace in the second Matrix.
Do we have Morpheus leading?
Well, Lawrence Fishburne's put on some weight since then.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. He's an older guy. You don't need to keep in shape.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But definitely isn't going to be headlining any action scenes anytime soon.
I was already thinking that during, like, watching those films. Like, they definitely chose, like, you can tell that Keanu Reeves and, I mean, most characters, like, they can fight.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Like, Hugo Weaving doesn't get a better rep for that because he keeps pace with Keanu Reeves really well.
Yeah.
At least as far as the audience sees. I don't know how much of his own stunts he did.
Mm.
But as far as I'm aware, that I'm like, yeah, no, for a guy that plays a lot of characters that stand around and actually, like, act in dialogue scenes, does incredibly well. But I think that makes sense. If you're going to choose a film where a lot of action, then you want actors that can keep up.
I just have to keep thinking of, like, they do have a lot of rigging going on, so, like, people that are, like, flying through the air, so someone has to pull I don't know if they're using sometimes they use quads to just, like,
drive people around.
No, they hook the person up to a pulley system that is pulled by a quad rather than a person. Yeah, but most of the time they just have
groups of people.
Yeah, just like 2 or 3 people holding onto the rope and then jumping off a box and you go flying off. That'd be tiresome after a while.
Let's do another take. You're like, really?
Really?
But no, I think they're going to struggle because if they go with the Matrix inside a Matrix, then they, like, the real world would the real world would probably be horrendously boring. Because that was what makes sense. They're probably just little embryos, brains,
Yeah, I mean...
You couldn't have that second Matrix be the real world again. That'd be odd.
I just wonder what they would... Like, why is that real world also, like, the machines are taken over, or is it just like, what is outside?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, that's saying you'd probably just have, like, a consciousness machine that stores your consciousness in one of these things, rather than actually having to farm bodies, would be the most sensible. And also modern, like...
But then again, it's also so questionable. Like, as soon as you establish the whole thing of, like, there's a Matrix within a Matrix, then there is no such thing as the real world, Yeah,
but that's the thing. So they could ignore that theory, because it definitely isn't confirmed. But then you're just continuing the one plot line that no one really cared about with the whole Zion City stuff.
Yes, no one cared about that.
No one cares.
I don't know.
So
did anyone care about that?
Presumably you didn't.
No.
So I think, what's the point? I don't think the series is that well regarded as like a trilogy. The first one definitely has a great reputation. I don't know anyone that thinks the third one is a good movie. Or doesn't watch it. I definitely think, when a lot of people say to me, I've only seen the first, I might definitely watch the other two to tie up the story, but there's no need to continue it. It doesn't have that, there's something more to be added by another film.
Something I did notice, something new, and I would want to raise, is that I was actually very impressed with the kind of representation that went on in those films. Like, there's a lot of black actors, and, like, the way why I like it is because it's just there, It's not...
They never acknowledge it.
Yeah, they never have to acknowledge it, and also, like, especially in Zion.
Yes.
Like, most of the people that are there are non-white ethnicity. Of a non-white
which, especially
ethnicity.
For late 90s, is really good.
Yeah, I think that's quite amazing.
And they do it without making a point of it either.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I feel like a film coming out now would be like, look at our cast of everything. And you're like,
Okay. Like, the film doesn't make a point of it. I don't know.
They didn't market it.
They didn't market it that way, so that's all. Like, that's very cool. And I don't know if it's... I would probably credit that to the Wachowskis, just knowing that.
I'd say so.
The kind of films they do.
I think Sean Connery was offered the role for Morpheus.
Oh. Which
would be a very different film. I'm pretty sure it was shot. There's definitely like some high profile actor. I'm pretty sure it's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
But
I know that's maybe like trying to get money from a production company.
I get why. I mean, yeah, he's big bucks.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I think they did a really good job of that.
Oh yeah.
In terms of but no, I mean, my only thoughts be going back to costuming.
Yes.
Neo's warrior monk robe in the second one is my favorite because it's not too far out there. Like, it's not a black leather jacket. It's not a coat. He wears this weird coat that comes up to his like just below his knees for a bit, but it's still like full covering 360, and it's just a bit odd. So it's not like a coat, but that's like it goes all the way down, and he just looks like he is the one. He's accepted it. He can stop bullets.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of weird, so it's a step back in the third one when he goes back and he's back in one of these weird cyberpunk jackets again.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a shame, but that's okay.
No.
The only other thing I'd say is Blade is probably better.
Is it?
Thinking about Blade then, I was like, yeah, no, actually, I think I prefer Blade.
Like as a trilogy?
No. No.
That's a good question to ask, though. That is a good question
to ask. Just the first one.
I gotta say.
The rest of the Blade films, nah.
That's a weird one. Because, like...
I think it's more unique. Somehow.
I was just thinking, I've seen the third Blade film first.
Oh, no. Trinity.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's... my experience with Blade is, like, all over the place.
Oh, no, see, I've seen the first one and the second one. I've not even seen the third one. I know it's not worth seeing, so I'm very happy not seeing it. But no, just the first one, I think there's actually, like, they came out very close together. They do a lot of things very similarly. And I think I'd rather watch it. I mean, obviously from a philosophical point of view, Matrix has a lot more going on.
Yeah.
But I think its attempt in doing that, especially later on, falls flat. Because it loses most people, and it's so complicated in the second one, or at least they try and cram so much exposition into these short talking scenes that you really need a notepad out to start writing down everything they're saying so you can actually analyze it.
Yeah.
Which, if you've ever read a philosophy text, know that you need to do, because you like reading a page of philosophy is not the same as reading a book.
No. No, and you have to be very specific and exactly what you say. Yeah, and I think the way they deliver exposition is not slow enough or concise enough that it's followable on first viewing perfectly, I don't think. The ideas they're passing through do need to be sat and broken down. Rather than just... Because, I mean, well, you can say, like, oh, they are discussing free will. Yeah. But to get everything they're saying about it takes more, and to actually analyze that idea, which they try and do, but... That being said, I feel like the plot is super easy to follow, though. Like, I had no Man save city, sacrifice. Well done. Well done. Yeah, could be done more. Yeah. Whereas I think Blade, like, they've got also great action scenes. The CG is dated but holds up fine. That kind of dark, gritty world. Yeah. Good representation. Yeah. Yeah, the first black superhero. Not only that, Marvel's first superhero. So Black Panther got all this shtick for being the first black superhero, and a huge step forward for comic book films. Yeah. Literally, Marvel's first ever superhero film was black. And better than most of Marvel's offering, I would argue, as well. At least the first one. Yeah, I just think the fights are a bit more fun. Bit more fun. I just realised how similar they were as we were talking, though, so I thought I'd chuck that in there if you're looking for something else to watch that's similar but different. Fair. So there's also not many people have seen it. Yeah, but I would also definitely recommend Sense8 by the Wachowskis. If you're into rave. I've not actually seen it. Yeah, it's fun. I think I always get it confused with Super 8. Oh, I haven't seen that. J.J. Abrams. But that's like with kids. About camera with kids. I think it's about filming
aliens.
Yeah. So like, it's a bunch of kids that, while shooting out with their Super 8 camera, capture the alien.
You've not seen it, and I have, and you still know more about the plot than I do. That's quite telling.
That's what trailers are for.
Long trailer. Right. I think you got anything else to add?
No, I think we're cutting it right here on the 1 hour mark, guys.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah,
thank you for tuning in.
If you've got anything to add or comment on,
if you absolutely disagree with Josh, let us know.
Well, I haven't said anything.
That's an issue. No.
Blade's better. I'm standing by it.
No, definitely leave a comment about anything, even
if you've got another trilogy. So this was actually something that one of our subscribers recommended. Charles.
Yeah.
Hi, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
So you recommended that we watch all this. I think our next retrospective is going to be on zombie movies.
Hey, yes.
I've got it planned out.
That was planned out.
So there's many that I have seen that you have not.
Yes, I just don't.
So we're going to watch all of them.
All of them.
Cool. Every film that's ever been made by George Romero.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks for checking out. Exactly. Like it, share it, subscribe it.
Yes.
Click the bell icon if you want. It'll be fun. Bye!